Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. We had some zombles outside. Wolfie is aware of them. Let's carefully work our way out here because we did stay up a little bit late last night in the last episode of Far Lands or Bust, attempting and pretty much failing to make a TNT cannon. Yes, apparently the design should have called for a half slab or a ladder or something for which to prop up the secondary, the shot, the projectile TNT, and I failed to remember to do that, but that's all right. It was some fireworks for 4th of July indeed, although on the 5th of July. But let's continue on today. In episode 375 of Far Lands or Bust, walking west to the Far Lands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Today is Monday, July 7th, 2014, and we have raised this season 5, $6,215 for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. Thank you, everybody who keeps donating. With your donation, you can ask a question in the comment box, and I will hopefully get to it in an upcoming episode of Far Lands or Bust. Got quite a few questions. I think I'll get to a lot of them today because since we didn't have a Friday episode, we had a Saturday episode. We didn't have Fan Friday, the sort of unofficial something I really haven't decided to be official or do I really keep to, but Fan Friday is where I answer mostly fan questions from donors and even the comments, YouTube comments and elsewhere in an episode of Far Lands Bust. Also, speaking of Child's Play charity, you might remember at the beginning of last week I mentioned JL zip code. JL zip code, JL2579, is doing something similar-ish in the latest version of Minecraft, where he is pre-generating a never-ending minecart track, what do we want to call it, a bridge, an overpass of some sort of description, and is just letting it run. Basically, letting it run in Minecraft as it travels in one direction. He's trying to reach the edge, the actual literal edge of where the Minecraft world generates at 30 million blocks, and it's still going on. He's still doing it. I just checked. He's going on 6.5 days of the estimated 14, or was it 17? It should take. It's either 14 or 17 days. It should take. And he is just imminently going to pass the 11 million blocks mark. The Far Lands are at 12.5 million, so I'm not sure when he's going to reach that distance, the distance we are trying to achieve here, without the help of any fancy pants minecarts or pre-generated trails or bridges or anything. We are actually at the helm. We are in control of our own faculties. And taking the scenic route, I suppose you could say. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And the way I referenced Child's Play there is that he's now put a Child's Play charity donation thing up on his live stream. Like I said, JL2579. So you keep watching that, keep checking in as the days continue there for that journey. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff, indeed. But yeah. Speaking of travels, a news item that caught my attention in the news, that's generally where you find news items, is that our good friends at the TSA, the Transportation Security Agency, the take your shoes away people at the airport, particularly here in the United States. Obviously, we are the ones who have to deal with them, but they do have influence elsewhere, and that influence is being flexed recently because they say they are going to be requiring flights to the U.S. to have, you're required, let's say you're traveling from abroad, Europe or elsewhere, to the United States. You're going to be required to have, say you bring your cell phone or your laptop or your tablet or your electronic device of choice. You have to prove that it powers on and is charged and is actually a device. So they're going to be checking that your phone turns on, that your laptop turns on, anything in your carry-on electronics actually turn on before being allowed to get on your flight. And they're not saying it's in regards to any sort of threat or anything like that. Just more things to make you feel like they're doing something. The security theater, as it were. But I saw that and I'm like, geez, more stuff. And who knows? I'm sure eventually they'll find a way to reason it into domestic flights here in the United States. But the thing to remember, kids, is that while they may require you to power on your device, make sure you always, especially when you're traveling, have passwords on your laptops, on your phones, password protected. You may be required to turn it on and show them, yes, this thing turns on, but never hand it over and never log in to your phone or your laptop or anything, because it's actually, at least recently, the Supreme Court, in one of their decent decisions, that's very rare, said that officers actually need a warrant in order to have access to your cell phone or electronics, even if you're being arrested. So always put a password protection on your phone, your laptop, and whatnot, so that they can't search that without your permission. And the same goes for the TSA, even though the TSA agents, as much as they would like to make you believe otherwise, are not actually officers of the law. Their badges are plastic and fake, and they actually have no rights to detain or arrest you or enforce any sorts of laws whatsoever. They are often, backed up by actual police officers. But that's something that is worth noting. Know your rights, people. Know your rights. Wolfie says know your rights once traveling and once dealing with such things as these. It's also very legal to take pictures and film the TSA checkpoints. In fact, encouraged, despite what they may or may not tell you. And, just know your rights is what I'm getting to. So, yeah, I saw that, and that's an annoying thing indeed. And, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Let's actually get this to be a Fan Monday. How can I spin this? There's no word that starts with M that relies or relates to questions or answering questions. Nope, there's nothing coming to mind. I'm sure maybe later on I'll think of something. I'm stuck on Minecraft Mondays or Mundane Mondays. Nope, can't think of anything. Answer question Monday. Let us, the sun's kind of setting. I'm trying to look for an easy answer here. How about from an anonymous donor? Would you ever attend RTX, Rooster Teeth Expo, which is, I believe, currently or just past weekend, maybe it has ended already, going on in Austin, Texas. Rooster Teeth, obviously. The only association I personally have with Rooster Teeth is that I know Gavin, and he is a Farlander, I suppose you could say. Gavin, free from Rooster Teeth, but also Slow Mo Guys fame, is a fan of Farlander's Bust. Has been on Flobathons in the past, and has always supported my channel and the show, and I do appreciate it. Would you ever attend Rooster Teeth Expo? I'm not sure. Just conventions in general, having to think about attending them or not, but I feel like I don't have any specific connection other than the loosely based internet friendship I maintain with Gavin. So yeah, I don't know if that would make too much sense. I suppose I don't know if they invited me, I suppose that would be a different thing altogether. Out of kindness and appreciation, I would go. But I'm not saying that they need to invite me, or that you should say invite Kurt next year or anything like that. Please don't do that. That would be too much awkward social situations for Kurt to deal with. Please don't do that. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably give preference to another convention over Rooster Teeth Expo in general. Even this last year, Game VidCon seems like a pretty potential, positive convention for content creators of the video game persuasion on the internet and YouTube. Good went to that, and I feel like perhaps next year it might be gaining some speed, but let's go to sleep and continue answering questions in the morning. And unknown question answering Mondays theme. Do you need some food, Wolfie? I know you took yeah, you did actually. You took a little bit of damage in the last episode from that Skeletna. Skeletna caused you problems. Good thing when they touch you, they don't catch you on fire when they're on fire, as they do in the current versions of the game. Do they do that to other mobs? I'm not sure. I'll have to test that out for science! But yeah, Game Vid Expo seems, interesting. I know even also VidCon happened recently. I have zero desire to attend VidCon at any time, ever. I mean, I am a fan of the Vlogbrothers and whatnot, and they're the ones who put that on, but it is very much more exclusively focused on the vloggy, real-life Hollywood aspect of YouTube. I did read an article about VidCon recently of somebody who went, a journalist who's like, this is really kind of all about the advertising, and they have industry days where if you are a YouTuber, you can pay an extra couple $100 for an industry pass, and they have people from YouTube and marketing and the studios and the Jello pudding pops, the networks and stuff talking about monetization and marketing and how to engage your audience and keep their eyes on and how to get deals, make deals with the advertisers and the get products and product placement in your videos and blah blah blah, and it just seems like it's kind of losing focus there, and it is, from what I've heard, majority of which a constant horde of tween-aged fangirls who tend to go to those things. So no thanks, not really the place for a gamer. And it's kind of unfortunate that I have heard of and seen other gaming video YouTubers who have gone to VidCon only to come away disappointed, very disappointed, and then having written off all conventions in general. Most obviously, not obviously, what's the word I'm looking for? Most adamantly was, Nerd Cubed. Went to VidCon, I think, last year. And he had a rant about that, and he's like, all right, screw that. That was a waste of time and money going all the way across the world for this thing, and having absolutely no reason to have been there. And he's like, I'll just stick to making videos at home. I won't go to conventions anymore. I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. It seems like, something like Game Vid Expo, or even a normal gaming like PAX, one of the PAXi, would be a better environment for someone like him to be at. But anyway, I digress. That's pretty much what Fire Bust is. Just a giant digression from a normal Let's Play. I don't want to play Minecraft normally. Let's digress and continue digressing until we reach the far lands. Let's see here. A question. Powell from Poland says, let's say we can divide car people into two categories. Ferrari people, parentheses, those who require perfection and flawlessness, and Lamborghini people, those who want to die in a ball of fire at 200 miles per hour. Ah! My question is, what category would you put yourself in? Well, I don't think that those two categories are entirely the only two categories we could think of. I could think about 27 other categories, to be honest. And honestly, Ferrari and Lamborghini would go into the same category in that setup. I don't know that any driver wants to die in a ball of fire at 200 miles per hour. That doesn't seem like that's something any sane person would want. I would say, you know, I've mentioned this many times before in my driving, racing videos and whatnot. I love cars. I love auto racing in general. You know, certain forms over others, but I don't know that much about car maintenance, about, you know, I really don't. I attempt to and often fail at trying to keep up with the repair and maintenance and the technical know-how of my own vehicle to a certain degree, and to another degree, the modern car makers would prefer you not be able to you know, fix your own car, or, because it makes them more money to take them into the dealership and require the maintenance to happen there. But that's beside the point. I just generally, I'm very technically astute. I'm very you know, I'm often very what's the word I'm looking for? Mechanically inclined. So I suppose if I were to learn, I would pick up things pretty quickly if I had the right tools and the right equipment, and, you know, the ability to, say, lift a car off the ground and get underneath it or something like that. But so I generally tend to classify myself as somebody who enjoys the, well, kind of the aesthetic of cars, the driving aspect, the actual act of driving as an enjoyable experience, if you will, and stuff like that. Performance in general, and the aesthetic, and I suppose the kind of the drama. Maybe, you know, kind of similarly to how I feel about astronomy and space and stuff. I might not understand a lick of quantum physics and a lot of the stuff that goes into our understanding of the universe, but I really appreciate the beauty, the mind-blowing, infinite nature of it all, and, you know, in learning certain aspects and seeing pictures from, you know, Cassini has been up there for 10 years, and all these pictures Cassini has taken of Saturn and Titan and all these moons, and, you know, from the surface of Mars, just absolutely mental that we've landed what is essentially a compact car on Mars, and it's driving around and doing all this science and taking all these amazing pictures from the surface of another planet. You know, the dramatic, the romantic, I suppose, aspect of astronomy and space exploration. Same sort of page goes into my love of cars and driving and stuff like that. It's a love-hate relationship, because I also recognize the, you know, the bad parts of it, the danger involved, and it's like one of the top, what's the word I'm looking for? One of the top killers, you know, in America, as far as like safety and overall deaths are concerned, and there's the whole fossil fuel pollution aspect of it as well that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's beside the point. So yeah, I wouldn't put car people into those two categories. I would kind of categorize myself as, yes, I do appreciate the performance aspect. You know, it's often put upon, specifically by the folks at Top Gear, that American cars are generally lacking in the performance, or they might have too much horsepower, but then they're on a solid leaf spring rear axle that have no traction or handling capabilities. So I would definitely appreciate the ability to maybe like own like a Jaguar F-Type, or a nice, a really nice high-performance vehicle. I will never ever be able to afford such a thing, no matter how whatever delusions of success or grandeur I may have. That's never going to happen. But then again, I also do appreciate the ridiculously powerful muscle car, or even something as stupid as spending a few $1,000s on a really old rear-wheel drive coupe, and just like thrashing the hell out of it until like the body panels start falling off, and that sort of aspect of it. And then also the aesthetic. I really like old 50s, 40s, and 50s cars. I could really get into the rat rod culture of a rusty old just put together Frankenstein of a car that just is, it might not have that great of an engine because it's so old and it's so heavy, but it could barely top 60 miles an hour. It could struggle to do that without overheating and blowing a radiator, but just cruising around and looking cool is basically what it comes down to. So there's different camps, and then there's the camps of just gearheads who just love, and they become mechanics, or they just love tinkering and upgrading and putting this air intake or turbo thing, and upgrading the brakes to the bright red giant carbon disc brakes and blah 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 blah. That I personally might not get under, but the other aspects maybe. So yeah, I wouldn't, I really can't answer the question as you've posed it, because I would say neither is really a valid category of car people to put under. And maybe perhaps I've taken your question far too seriously. But regardless, with the money I would spend on Ferrari or Lamborghini, I would rather have 4 or 5 different cars for different uses. Off-roading, getting a 4x4, a truck of some description, and going off-roading, or a Subaru and rally racing and blah. Just, I could go on. But I'm not going to, because we're going to go to sleep. And awakeness. Moo. Moo to you, sir. Moo to you. Sorry, guy. Getting a wolfie to the face. Ooh, perfect. All right, let's continue on. Continue west. Let's see here. Looking down the list. Oops. I'm also paying attention to where I'm going. Cookie asks, is there a way out of the dungeon without using a skeleton key? Or the wizard key? I'm sorry, not the skeleton key. That's a whole different story entirely. But the wizard key? I don't know what you're referencing, but I'm assuming it is some sort of old school gaming, perhaps Zelda-related reference of some description that I'm not familiar with. So possibly with a cheat code? Let's say that. That is the answer to that, Cookie. Thank you for the donation and using your donation to ask that question. Very nice. Let's see here. Adamu asks and says, I've recently started a YouTube channel where I do Minecraft LPs, and I was wondering, how long did it take you to gain a following? Oh, I lost the question. And what was it that really helped your channel to take off? How long did it take me to gain a following? It's still going on. I'm still trying to gain a following. You never want to be stagnant or to say, yes, this is enough right here. I will stop right here and not try to continue to achieve growth and success and spread my channel and try new things and whatnot. So to say how long, well, I've been doing this for the past, say, 3.5 years, so 3.5 years and counting. And I'm not trying to be too facetious in that answer, maybe a little bit, just a little bit, tiny. But that is kind of the way to look at it. What was the second part of that question? What was it that really helped your channel? Having an original idea, I suppose. Whoa, that's some cheaty snow right there, right on the surface of the water. I was like a little bit, what happened? Cheaty Snow. Hi, Wolfie. I'm at your level. Yeah, what, there are always little, you get little bursts of, I suppose, subscribers, viewers, things I mentioned in the last episode, like UHC joining the Mindcrack server. Bleh. Season 3 of UHC, you really saw a big jump in subscribers. Even things as weird and simple as doing that sinking simulator game. One of my most popular videos are those two sync. I should just do a series in that. What the heck am I not? What am I doing? That's the surefire way to success. But having those videos that go a little bit viral tends to bring in the viewers, obviously, and hopefully the subscribers as well. But in general, in the long haul, it would be having a unique idea, even if it's not a popular idea. I mean, Far Lands or Bust is by far not a popular idea. It's not it's not Minecraft mod reviews or the musical parodies set in Minecraft or anything like that. But it's unique enough to where, yes, a few interviews have come in. Took a few years to get the attention, to get some media interviews that then lead to another little spike of viewers and subscribers that I try to keep up with. But yeah, I mean, those, I could, it's one of those things. I could talk about this, and I have talked about this forever and ever. There's got to be at least a good 25% of Far Lands or Bust episodes are me talking about YouTube, and I try to I almost resolved earlier last year, was it last season, where I'm like, I want to stop being so self-referential and kind of meta talking about YouTube within YouTube, and actually make this more of an interesting, inclusive, podcasty, vloggy type Let's Play. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. I mean, good luck. You're kind of starting late, I suppose. Also starting at the right time and trying to ride what was the wave, or perch yourself atop the bubble before it bursts is kind of something that you can't really control. But yeah, indeed. Thank you anyway for the donation to Child's Play charity and the question. Let's see. Wait, I lost this. An anonymous donor. What new space-related things are you most excited for in the next 10 years? Well, in the next 1 year, I just saw a tweet on Twitter. Obviously, that's where the tweets tend to happen. From the New Horizons account. They recently announced that they're going to reach Pluto in 2015, next year. And the New Horizons spacecraft recently passed the distance where if Pluto was on its weird ecliptic orbit within the orbit of Neptune and at its closest point to the sun, it actually reached that point. So technically speaking, New Horizons is within the orbit, the perihelion, like periapsis, the close point of the orbit, the perihelion orbit distance of Pluto to the sun. That's not where Pluto is. It's still got a little bit of ways to go. Well, a lot of bit of ways to go, relatively speaking, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I'm really looking forward to our first looks at Pluto and Charon and its other sister dwarf objects, planet objects, asteroids out there. That's going to be very interesting. They're starting to theorize that maybe there is a subsurface ocean or water ice on Pluto. Very cool to see. And they're also, with telescopes, finding objects kind of in the Pluto party, hanging out around Pluto and kind of orbiting each other as different objects out there. Very interesting to look at. And then they're also now planning, once New Horizons, the spacecraft, passes Pluto, trying to identify targets out there in the Oort cloud for New Horizons to try to swing by and get data from. So Pluto is the major part of the mission, but isn't the end part of the mission. They're looking to go out and at them and see other things beyond the orbit of Pluto. So that's going to be very cool. So that's something very much I'm looking forward to in 2015. It is going to be, when does Juno get to Jupiter? That's going to be an interesting thing. Is that also 2015 or is that 2017? 2016. I don't remember honestly now. God, I saw the thing launch. But yeah, that's the sentimental attachment to Juno is the fact that I saw this spacecraft. I didn't see the spacecraft, but I saw the rocket with the spacecraft inside actually lift off of the surface of the planet. So I can say I saw that from day one, and now I'll be watching, obviously, and paying attention to when it actually reaches Jupiter. And it's not, there isn't going to be as much eye candy from that mission. That is far more of a data mission where it's going to be looking at the magnetosphere and the atmosphere and basically getting a lot more technical and numerical data about Jupiter. It does have a camera, but that's, it's not like Cassini where visual images are going to be a big part of that mission, but it's still going to be cool to check out what Juno is up to. And it's also going to be in orbit for only about a year before they deorbit it and put it into the surface, I suppose you could say, the atmosphere of Jupiter for destruction. And that's something they're also planning. I mentioned Cassini is on its 10th year orbiting Saturn, getting a bunch of science there. They're planning for the next phase of extending the mission, but then also its eventual disposal into the clouds of Saturn should be very interesting indeed. But yeah, a lot of stuff. And then also, like I mentioned before, closer to home, Elon Musk talking about, launching the version 2 of the Dragon, the man-rated capsule, within the next year, and then having a manned test. Hey, guy. What's up? I'm gonna just kind of go around this way. See you later. Don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. I'm a hypochondriac. Oh, God. What's this guy doing? Why? He's just in the shade. By 2017, actually having a manned test flight of the version 2 Dragon capsule will be interesting. And then, of course, his very lofty goals of landing a man on Mars by 2026. Craziness. Mental. 12 years. Unheard of. I would very much be looking forward to that as well. 12 years, I know. You asked 10 years, but I'm looking at the long-term stuff. So, very cool indeed. I also saw a tweet and retweeted the U.S. Air Force has the X-37 space plane. And, I remember watching, it's basically a very tiny unmanned space shuttle. And the U.S. Air Force owns and fly that, so it's all very top secret, hush hush. But I remember they flew a mission and landed it, and I remember keeping track of that. And I remember they launched one a little bit ago, but I just saw and I forgot that it's been in orbit for over 500 days now. The latest mission of the X-37B. Nobody knows what it's doing up there. Still very top secret. We know where it is. There are satellite spotters who do see it, and they have calculated, what its orbit is, and they have noted that it doesn't take it on an orbit over Russia or Europe, but it does through other parts of the world. So either it's on a, they're speculating it might just be on a long-term testing mission to test its long-term capabilities. Or it might actually be on an operational clandestine mission. And it has a cargo bay where it holds its solar panels, but it also is able to hold other things within its cargo bay. Not as big as the space shuttle's cargo bay, but, and obviously its cargo is incredibly top secret, so we don't know if it has some sort of test platform for spy cameras at that height, or some, we have no idea. Maybe it launches and then recovers spy military payloads. Very, very crazy, interesting stuff indeed. I kind of wish that sort of technology was used for science and manned space flight, but there are other companies who are looking to, like X-Core has its own kind of space shuttle winged spacecraft derivative that they're trying to get man-rated to go to the space station. They're still testing it and stuff, and the European Space Agency has a kind of a lifting body spacecraft. I'm not sure if it's manned or not, but space, science, whatnot, far lands or bust, indeed, and etc. I do appreciate you watching and all these questions and donations coming into Far Lands or Bust for Child's Play charity. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt, dramatic pause. I will see you next time. Don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me.